We're going to start with our wash bucket. I'm going to pull off the sealed lid. And then we have two wash pads. We have a jumbo wash pad, which is my favorite, and we have a standard wash pad. Both are super soft. They're acrylic. Now, in the bottom of the bucket is what's called a grit guard. The grit guard bucket insert, what this does, it sits in the bottom of the bucket. You wash the wash pads over this grit guard, and all the dirt falls to the bottom of the bucket, and you see these fins. They keep water from agitating around the bottom of the bucket. All the dirt stays in the bottom of the bucket where it really belongs, and not on the finish of your car. Okay, our car wash shampoo. I'm gonna go ahead and squirt about a half to 3/4 of an ounce directly onto the wash pad. The reason I do that is because now it'll make this foam up and suds up like crazy, which is what we want. We want as much suds as possible. Suds keep your wash pad from scratching your finish. The bucket's ready. Now, finally, I'm gonna go ahead and put water on the car. I'm gonna rinse it off as well as I can. Everything else has been done that we needed to do before we actually had to put water on the car. Now, I'm gonna rinse it down top to bottom. All right, now it's time for me to actually turn the hose off, and I'm gonna go ahead and foam the car down. Now we've got this Foam Master gun, which is absolutely incredible. What it does, puts a whole layer of foam over the vehicle, reducing the amount of friction when you're washing. It further reduces the potential for swirl marks or scratching. Now, I've got this thing filled with about 12 ounces of car wash shampoo. So what it does, and I've got the setting at B. B is about medium as far as the settings go, the ratio of soap to water. Watch what happens now when I suds the car down. Okay, now if I wanted to, let's say I wanted to get really ridiculous and just say I wanted it soaped up and foamed up as possible. Take it to C or even to D. Now watch this. Then the soap is absolutely ridiculously thick. So why do this? Why suds the car? When you're removing dirt that's embedded into the finish or embedded on the finish, this lubricates it, making it much less possible that there'll be any scratching when you're washing. So a foam gun is not a must-have. It's a nice-to-have. If you have a black car that you wash with soap and water often, it's just about a must-have. At this point, people are like, wow, there's suds sitting on the car. With our car wash shampoo, it's pH exactly neutral, pH of 7. So it will not hurt. It's much better to have our suds sitting on the car than it is having your water sitting on the car. You don't want hard water, but it's totally fine to have our suds on there. So I'm gonna casually wash this, and I'm not gonna rinse any of it. I'm not gonna rinse a single bit of this car down until it's completely washed. And I'm gonna wash from the top down. So now that the sun's come out, I'm gonna start seeing the suds drying on the finish. A normal, natural reaction to that is to get the hose and blast off the suds. Don't do it. The suds, our suds on your car are fine. Remember, water spots are to be avoided. I'm also going to go ahead and wash only to the middle of the car. I've not washed below the middle of the door at all. And now that I've got pretty much the entire from the middle of the car up washed, the last thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna dunk this wash pad down. This is the jumbo wash pad. I'm gonna use my standard wash pad. Look at that soap, wow. And then I'm gonna go ahead and wash the very bottom part of the car last. Now, there's a little bit of dirt on the wash pad. I'm gonna take it, dunk it, rub it on the grit guard, make sure I have all the grit and the particles out of it, and then back at it. Up here in the front of the car, there were a lot of dead bug guts. So I want to make sure and spend a little bit extra time just giving those a little gentle scrubbing. We'll be able to use the clay bar later to remove the more serious carcasses of the bugs. The suds on this car are almost completely dry. Before I rinse it, I still want to make sure that I've got a few of the essentials. 1, do I have my detail spray? 2, do I have my drying towel? Well, yes, I have both. So now I'm ready to go ahead and rinse the car down. So, drying towel in hand, detail spray in my pocket. I'm going to start from the top down and rinse this beautiful Ferrari. Okay, now that I've got water, hard water, setting on the car, I'm going to do whatever I can to dry it as quickly as possible. One of the things I'm going to do is use the detail spray and blast the entire car down. Why am I blasting the car down with detail spray while it's still wet? 1, detail spray makes drying a complete breeze. And 2, detail spray also neutralizes the hard water. So it makes it extremely easy to go ahead and dry down. So we've got the car inside now and it's wet. I want to get right on blowing the water off before I dry it. Now, this is my favorite tool to knock the water off and knock it out of all the little nooks, the crannies, the headlights, and the door handles. It's called the Blaster Sidekick. Now, before I dry the car, I want to get all the water to come up out of the headlights and all the little areas that water puddles and pools. Now that I've got all the water out of all the nooks and crannies, I'm going to go ahead and take our incredibly soft microfiber drying towel. So it's a waffle towel. I'm going to wipe down the entire car quickly and just get the rest of the water off, starting with the glass. And then the paint. So I've got the entire exterior of the car now totally dried off. I'm going to pop the doors open and make sure that I always, every single wash, wipe out the door jambs and under the hood and trunk. So don't forget that part or else you'll have water spots in your door jambs around your motor compartment and trunk.